Now we should both be live on my stream. Does anyone want a dried mango? A piece of dried mango with some chili powder on it? It's very good. Anyone in pre-chat before the show gets started?
Hey,
Anyone?
so according to your chat, you're muted.
I was muted like 20 seconds ago. Yeah.
Nope.
I was muted 20 seconds ago. I'm not muted anymore. You need to listen to me. Don't listen to them. All right?
I don't know about that one.
Listen to me. You gotta listen to me. All right? You're listening to me IRL in real time. They're listening to me like 20 seconds ago.
True.
Okay?
Question though. Do you not have your alert box set up on the scene on your OBS?
I don't think so. I'm a very professional streamer.
Here I am doing 7 months in a row, and I don't even get it.
Hey, Guy, thank you for the 7 months with the Prime. We love our Prime subs here. I just wanted to do a different type of alert box than the one I usually do.
Fair.
Because I don't want the alerts to, like, be, like, really intrusive. So I want to make them a little bit more subtle. But I haven't gotten around to doing that yet.
There's a lot of things I haven't gotten around to doing.
Me too. It's been busy. I've been busy. Lots of life things happening.
Bro, I forgot today was Wednesday. I was streaming this morning and fucking
you were like, "Oh yeah, we have a podcast."
And I was like saying hump day. I was like, "Wait, it's Wednesday." Oh shit.
Something we got to do.
I text you. Yep. Wow. It's all right. We got it. We're fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. It's fine.
We're good. All right. What's poppin', everyone? Welcome in. Graham, how you doing? Shauna, hello. JR Boy, what's up? Katana,
we got
welcome.
These drinks at work.
Whiskey, Shauna, like, Pride, Fire Phoenix. What drinks did you get at work?
They're like O2 hydration. Like 15 calories, less than a gram of sugar, 550 milligrams of electrolytes.
Huh.
And just fucking, they're just so good. 270 milligrams of potassium.
I'm drinking Grape Propel. Like that one Among Us.
This one is orange mango.
Oh, mango? Did someone say mango?
We're sitting here setting up, and it's already empty. So I don't know.
Did someone say mango? Yo, another piece of dried mango. Anybody?
Orange mango. Yo, what is up, Virtue? Welcome. I'm good. How are you doing?
These are gonna make me poop a lot later.
Why is that?
What? It's dried fruit. It goes right through me.
It's right through
I don't know. Dried fruit goes right through me, and I just end up pooping a lot. Also, welcome in, Shy.
Ooh, thanks for that, Shy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. I have both our chats tabbed up. Virtu, how you doing? We have both our chats pulled up. Chatterino's so cool.
Thanks for that command, Shy. I actually appreciate that a lot.
Thank you, Shy.
5 head right there. 5 head.
What a good command. Pod. Exclamation.
Short and simple. Right to it.
Very true. All right, just let me know when you're feeling ready, and then we'll get started into the proper podcast.
Yeah.
I still don't know how to do these. Am I supposed to talk to chat? Am I supposed to ignore you guys? I'll do both.
You usually ignore chat anyway. You might as well just stick to it.
True. Fuck those guys.
Yeah, just as a heads up, chats, we want to try and keep this more like conversation between the two of us, unless like something comes up really important in chat that kind of ties into the conversation, like new info. Yeah. Because once we kind of get the hang of it, our plan is to start uploading the audios, so like Spotify, iTunes, those types of things.
Yeah.
So for people who do come across it and only listen to it, it'd be really awkward if we have it on there and we're like talking to chat.
Think of this as like the early morning radio talk show that you hear on your way to work.
True. So if we're ignoring you, it's not on purpose. We're just trying to go for a different vibe here.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, and we're only here for an hour, so we gotta get through everything.
Speaking of, I think that pride. Come on now, come on.
All right. Well, speaking of which, we should probably go ahead and get started. So I have it in my stream title. Our main topic for the day is going to be Coachella. Because we really just kind of wanted to talk about entertainment in general. Coachella just wrapped up last weekend, and there was a lot that happened, a lot that went down. All right. So before my chat sets itself on fire, Frank Ocean, what a guy! What a guy. Okay, here's the thing. Full disclosure, um, I had never listened to a single Frank Ocean song before like this whole thing happened with him. So for
He's
those out of the loop, like Frank Ocean's,
he's
he's
the
like
artist that I recognize the name, but if you say, "Oh, what's a song by Frank Ocean?" I'd be
I
like,
could not tell you. I
Like if
could not
something
tell
comes
you.
on, I know his voice. I'm like, "Oh, hey, it's Frank." I
It's
fucking
that
can't even remember
guy.
what music you're.
It's
It's
Frank. Yeah.
Frank.
I had to look up his music when I heard this story because I was just not familiar with him at all. But Frank Ocean was a headliner for Coachella this year, but he backed out after showing up to his set weekend one an hour late, and then putting on a very subpar performance in which he changed a lot of parts of his show like last second. He just said, "Nah, I'm done. I'm not doing it a second weekend." Which again, all artists are contractually obligated, at least the headliners,
Okay,
to
wait,
perform
wait.
both
So
weekend.
did
He just
he?
drops.
From what I heard, he didn't just drop. I heard he had some type of ankle injury. I don't fucking know.
It's
But like,
it depends on who you ask. I've seen some people say that like he was faking it to like get out of performing weekend two. Some people say it was real. I don't know. There's like a video going around of Frank after the show just walking totally fine.
oh, see,
It's just
I didn't even hear about that until like last night or this morning. Because
right.
I had been hearing, and we'll get into this later, all the fines and stuff like that. That's all the news I've been hearing
Hmm.
about. And then I heard this morning that Frank Ocean canceled due to an ankle injury, and that's all I heard. I was like, what the fuck? And the only thought that went through my mind when I heard that was like, bitch, sit in a fucking chair and sing your music. You don't have to get up there and like. You get the fucking EDM DJs that literally just stand behind stage and do their shit. They're not running all around stage and doing whatever. Fucking pull up a chair and go sing. You don't need your ankle to sing.
Well,
Like, I don't know.
for me it was like, you know, I was not familiar with Frank Ocean as a musician like I just said, but there's so many Frank Ocean fanboys and fangirls. But
Really?
it's just it was yeah, a lot. And I was surprised at how many people were basically begging and trying to manifest him as a headliner for another Coachella festival because he did headline Coachella some years ago. I want to say back in like 2016, 2017. So they wanted him back for a while.
I
And
would
so
like to point out that I just looked up Frank Ocean music, and the first 10 songs that pop up on Google, I don't know a single one of them. Or at least I don't recognize the names of them.
yeah, like, well, because, okay, who were the other headliners this year? It was Bad Bunny and Blackpink. And, like, I know them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an avid listener of either Bad Bunny or Blackpink, but you tell me, like, hey, have you heard of Bad Bunny? Have you heard of Blackpink? I'm like, yeah. I've heard a music or two. You could probably play a song and I could recognize it. I'd be like, yeah, that I've heard that song before. Frank
Mm-hmm.
Ocean, no clue. And maybe it's just because I'm not in the R&B scene, but like they put him on the same level. You know, he was a headliner on the same level as Bad Bunny and Blackpink. And it just I don't know, it just felt weird. You know, so many people were clamoring for Frank Ocean to come back to Coachella and for all this to go down. I kind of feel bad
Did he have
for
like
the
a
Frank
great
Ocean
show
fans.
last year or something? Like, did he
Not
perform last
last
year and have a
year,
great
like
show?
no, years ago. It was years ago when he was back in here.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why I guess he did have a good okay, so um there was supposed to be an ice skating rink. I
Okay.
don't know what the original plan for his show was, but there was supposed to be some kind of like big ice skating rink on stage, and he was gonna like ice skate and have like ice skate dancers, and there is gonna be this like big, you know, performance on ice. It was, you know, it was really grandeur. And at the last second, he decided to just scrap all of that.
I did hear about that actually.
Yeah.
I remember them saying something about like some special rink or
He
set
wanted
that
to
they had to
be
just
Coachella
cancel.
on ice, and then at the last second just backed out for whatever reason.
Huh.
So,
Well, I
you
guess
know,
it was like I said, it wasn't for whatever reason. From what I heard, he had an ankle injury the day
yeah.
prior. Whether that's factual or not, I don't know. It didn't interest me enough to like look into it, so I was just like, all right, whatever, little bitch. And then I guess I didn't put two and two together. That if he had some ice skate show, that would make sense. But like to not perform at all is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, so he like I said, he showed up an hour late and he completely scrapped the ice rink plan and just came up with some performance last minute. Um and then he didn't put his all into the show. Like the people that were there watching said that like the show sucked. It was bad. And then after that, the news broke out the next day that Frank was just like, I'm just not gonna perform weekend two. I'm just not gonna do it. And so that left the Golden Voice, the promoters of Coachella, to scramble to put together a replacement headliner within a week. And I don't know how much you know about like the entertainment industry, but I used to work with these students in college. We were part of a team called ASI Productions, and we actually got a budget from our like students' tuition fees, and that budget was meant for like on-campus entertainment. And so we'd use that budget to like book bands and stuff like that, performances. And we had this big event every single year called the Spring Concert, and we would get like pretty big names to perform at our school. I think we got Waka Flocka Flame one year. We got Ray Shremmerd, Migos at some point. We had Porter Robinson. That one was my favorite personally. I know we also had what's his face? We had Tyga, and then we were also supposed to have Wiz Khalifa, but then he backed out on us. And I think we replaced him with like Ludacris or something like that.
The big names I remember that we had at my local college when I was there years ago was like G-Eazy. We had Tyga come as well. I think Logic came at one point. But I don't really remember because I never went to all those things. They were always just super overcrowded with a bunch of fucking. Oh,
that's true.
Apparently Tiesto came to our college one time.
Ooh.
So that's cool. And a lot of the times we have like this color run. It's like a 5K thing that happens super late, and they kind of put a show on at the end of it. Oh. And I was, me sitting at home on my computer. So
yeah, we also had a run at my college, but ours was the underwear run. So I feel like okay, all right. I'm like I feel like all right. We're getting off topic.
We are. But like, anyways,
the point is, I've worked with the people responsible for putting on events like that. And like trying to just book an artist in the first place is so difficult. And we also were in a situation where we had to rebook an artist to replace us. Like I said, Wiz Khalifa ditched us to go host like SNL instead, which I guess was a better deal. I mean, but it still kind of sucks.
SNL, come on now.
I know, but it still kind of sucks. You make a prior obligation. You're just like, haha, sorry, peace out, losers. So I know just from seeing the amount of work that these students. Again, this was a student-led organization that had to do all that. Mm-hmm. So I know what Coachella was going through, having to suddenly find a replacement for their big Sunday headliner since Frank Ocean dropped. And then looking at the reception. They seem to have done a good job. So they got this electronic group called PHM, and it's a trio made up of a Skrillex, Fredigan, and Fortet, and they're like pretty fucking popular. I mean, like within like the EDM scene. PHM stands for Pangborn House Mafia. So if you're in that kind of like house music scene, they're a pretty big deal. And their shows are apparently really, really good. At the very least, their Coachella show was phenomenal, according to everyone that actually attended it, which is like insane. If you get booked to headline Coachella in less than a week, being able to put on a show that good, that's kind of impressive. And so it was, I think it worked out really well for everyone that went weekend two. They got a better show. They got a better experience. Because half the festival didn't close down for Frank Ocean, there were less conflicts as everyone was further spread out. It just seemed like, generally speaking, if you went to Coachella this year, you got lucky. You hit the lucky spot if you went weekend two, and if you went weekend one, you got kind of screwed over. Which, shout out to CEO, because she also went to Coachella this year, and I believe she went to weekend one, so I want to ask her later on. Like what she thought about Frank Ocean.
I wouldn't necessarily say that's true. So from what I was seeing, kind of tying into this, like obviously Frank Ocean canceled, and apparently during weekend one, I think it was Saturday. So the first weekend, I guess, Golden Voice accumulated a total of like $100 and something thousand in fines because of artists going over over their curfew. So wherever, I don't
Mm.
remember the location, but the location where Coachella was happening, they had a curfew of midnight. The first, if you go over, you automatically get charged $20,000 for 5 minutes,
Jesus.
and then you get charged $1,000 for every single minute after that you go. So another five
Yeah.
minutes, another 5,000. So you go 10 minutes over, that's $25,000. And I know people like who was it? I have Bad Bunny went over, Joel and Randy went over, Nango Flow, Post Malone. Had some technical difficulties. Calvin Harris at one point during his show was in the middle of stage, turned the music down, said, "Hey, it's curfew." Pretty much said, "Hey, it's curfew, but I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna continue to give you guys a show," because he started late. So
Yeah.
like, there's a huge difference right there in just artists in general. Frank Ocean, the first weekend, I guess at one point said, "Oh, it's curfew, guys. I gotta end," and then weekend two ends up canceling. So that's two marks now that
Yeah.
Frank Ocean has just fucking like shit the bed on his fans. Well,
He's
other people are over here going, you know what? Fuck it. I will pay this money and give you guys the show that you deserve. And I think that's probably why those EDM bands that they brought in did so well, because really they don't give a fuck. They go out
yeah.
there, they put their music out there, and they fucking let the vibe go. I think some
True.
artists are just too much like money grabbers, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
they were. So Frank Ocean, if he did fake his ankle injury, I wouldn't be surprised if it was because, like you said, he got such bad backlash about the first show that he's like, I don't want to do it again. Like, wouldn't surprise
Possibly.
me at all.
I think
So,
one thing. I think one thing is for certain though. I don't think he's ever gonna play at Coachella again. I think he's way too thoroughly burned that bridge. So
mhm.
anyone ever hoping for another Frankchella, as they call it, is shit out of luck. But you know what? Like it's fine. I was waiting for years for another Daft Punk appearance at Coachella, and I'm never getting that either. So it is what it is. At some point, everyone, has their run in with Coachella, and either it goes great and they keep doing it, or it's a one time thing and that's it, and it's over.
So I'm actually reading a little bit more right now. You
Mm-hmm.
had mentioned earlier that Frank Ocean showed up an hour late.
Yeah.
That same day that he showed up an hour late is when he also ended immediately at curfew, quoted saying, "Guys, I'm being told it's curfew, so that's the end of the show." The same day that he showed up an hour late,
So
which
how
means
long did he actually perform?
I don't, how long are, anyone in chat know how long are Coachella performances? Are
Hold
they
on,
like 2 hours, hour and a half?
I can look up the schedule for weekend one.
Because I'm actually curious if he showed up an hour late, how long he actually performed.
It couldn't have been much.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think. I only thought their sets were an hour long, so I'm actually surprised that maybe an hour and a half tops.
Let's see. I'm trying to look it up here. All right, here we go.
Welcome in, Bowser.
Excuse that Windows noise.
I actually didn't hear.
You didn't, but okay. So Frank
Shush.
Ocean was scheduled to start at just after 10 p.m.
Okay.
So I don't know how long his set was supposed to be.
What day
but
was that? What day was that?
This was Sunday. This was Sunday.
Okay. So
So
Sunday curfew is at 11.
is it?
Yeah. So coming on right here.
That can't be
Friday and
right.
Saturday's curfew is set at midnight. Sunday's curfew is set at 11 p.m. I'm reading it right here.
Really? Because
So
they
maybe
have
he didn't show up a full hour late, but he probably showed up pretty fucking late and then decided they cut him off at fucking 11
I don't know if that's correct because they have Boris Berja scheduled after 11 p.m. on Sunday.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not correct.
Maybe it's
12,
not correct.
Maybe it's
But
12 for every day.
I think it's 12 for every day, but that still makes it pretty bad because, Frank Ocean being an hour late to his set. I don't know however long his set was supposed to be, but feels like people got cheated out of that hour since he had to stop right at midnight. That sucks.
Coachella's only 2 weekends, right?
Yeah, it's only 2 weekends, 3 days each
So
week.
they just finished this past weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this
Okay.
this past Sunday on the 30th, the 16th was the last day of Coachella until next year.
So he's showing up an hour late,
Mm-hmm.
ending early because of curfew. Well, Calvin Harris is over here showing up a half hour late, and then decides, you know what, I was late. He went 22 minutes over curfew. So that's $20,000 for the first 5 minutes, and then another 17,000 on top of that for the last 17 minutes that he went
Yeah.
over. So this man is paying $37,000 just to try his best to give his fans his full show.
I mean,
Like
that's dedication.
that's some dedication right there.
It's Calvin Harris. He probably could afford it.
Oh, 100%, man.
100%.
Loaded. Who doesn't love a good
Yeah.
Calvin Harris show?
Yeah. So I just this whole thing is just like really, really weird because I can't remember the last time a Coachella headliner just straight up said, you know what, I'm just not performing the second weekend. We've had Coachella headliners drop ahead of time. I think Beyonce was supposed to be a headliner one year and then she got preggers and then she had to drop. But that was like a month or two before. This is the first time I think in my memory where a headliner plays the first weekend and then is just totally replaced for the second weekend.
Yeah. So total fines I'm reading for Golden Voice, fined by the city of Indio for the 2 weekends was $118,000.
That's crazy. Yeah,
the artists all have to pay themselves. Like Golden Voice pays it out, but they fine the artists.
Yeah, so you and the artists end up paying. I mean, honestly though, Coachella is one of the biggest festivals on the planet. The amount of exposure you get from performing there, I would say, is worth the extra couple grand.
Do you really think though that there's many small time artists that are getting big exposure?
Oh yeah.
If I'm being honest, I don't know too much about Coachella. I've never had too much of an interest in going there, whatever. I know a couple years ago, Ninja went and played Fortnite at Coachella, which confused the shit out of me because I was like, wait, I thought Coachella was about music, and then I heard that. At that point, I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. I will stick to my music festivals that are near me.
Okay, so here's the thing. To answer your question, yes, it can help get a smaller artist notice. So I'm going to pull up and I just picked a random year. I'm going to pull up the lineup of Coachella from 2012. Okay? That year, the headliners were the Black Keys, Radiohead, and then Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. And I'm going to read some of what's called the undercard, which are, the artists underneath the headliners that aren't given as much exposure. They maybe play earlier in the day and stuff like that. But there's some pretty big names nowadays that were like relatively unknown 10 years ago. So just on from what I understand, from what I see Arctic Monkeys, M83, Madeon, Frank Ocean ironically is also on here as well.
10 years later.
Let me see. Kendrick Lamar is at the very bottom of this Coachella list.
2012 Kendrick Lamar. I feel like he was fairly known.
Not yet. I think it'd be another 2 or 3 years before he really blew up. It was 2014.
There were a few songs while I was in high school that people loved by Kendrick.
Maybe he was known enough to get onto the Coachella lineup, but not long and not big enough. Someone just farted in my stream.
You gotta love those random sound effects.
I forgot those were still on. Anyway, that's let me keep going. So some other back then, David Guetta was also on the undercard. Martin Solveig. Who else? I see AWOL Nation, ASAP Rocky.
Okay. Oh, ASAP Rocky. That was probably a big deal.
I'm trying to read. Childish Gambino is way at the bottom. Who else? Avicii, Florence and the Machine. The Weeknd is kind of at the bottom. So is Porter Robinson. Calvin Harris was towards the bottom, right? Who else? Let me see. There's got to be one more probably.
Is it really by order of popularity though? On that
it
list?
Is. It 100% is.
Because every time I see lineups for festivals and events and things like that, I always thought they all right, headliners, and then they kind of just put everyone else in to fit.
So
I never think there was an order to that.
There is a hierarchy of popularity. How they determine it, I believe, differs from festival to festival. But generally speaking, the ones at the top, the headliners, are the most well known. They're going to be the main artists that actually sell tickets for the festival. And then the further down you go, the less known an artist tends to be. But they need people to play at 12 and 1 p.m. when the festival opens and people are walking in. So that's where you get those kind of people.
Yeah,
And again, those are called the undercard. But like some of the names that I just listed off, they were undercard artists for Coachella in 2012. And since then, a lot of them have become very, very well known in the music industry and have even headlined Coachella themselves. So yes, performing at Coachella, even as an undercard artist, could really, really help boost your profile as a musician. It does matter. It does indeed matter. So that's why it's like, sometimes, even if you're already a well-known artist like Calvin Harris, fuck it. Pay the extra 20 grand to go over curfew. Make sure everyone remembers that, you had a great ass show, and then they're going to want you back. Coachella will be like, well, as long as you pay the fine, sure, we'll have you back. Just don't do it again, Calvin. And then he's going to do it again. But
yeah, he'll be back.
That's sort of just how it. Yeah, this is Calvin Harris's maybe like 7th time performing at Coachella. It's insane. He's been there like pretty much every year since that 2012 lineup I just listed.
Mm-hmm. So I remember I've tried to find like the lineup that I can actually see very well, but like kind of comparing like a similar year. I went my first concert ever. I don't know if you know what Warped Tour is, since they're not doing it anymore.
Oh, Vans Warped Tour, yeah, that was
Vans Warped Tour
in Huntington Beach, right?
Not in Huntington. It used to be all over.
Oh, okay.
So it used to be all over. So my first concert ever that I've ever gone to was 2013. So this was after I graduated high school. I've never been to a concert before. The month after I graduated high school, my buddy was moving up to Seattle, or his family was moving up there before he went to the military. So I went with them, hung out with them for a few weeks before he got dropped off to go to basic training. And we went to Warped Tour up in Seattle. That was my first concert ever. And I just remember seeing like the lineup and like, yeah, there were cool headliners and stuff like that. But obviously they have it sorted by like stage. Like, hey, these people are performing on this stage, because there's so many things going on. And half of the stuff that I wanted to see was like at the bottom or in like random places. So that's like why my opinion of like where festivals come from. Like I've been to base camp and things like that. I'm like, oh, I like that person, that person, that person. So I never thought there was a hierarchy. I just remember being like, oh, Pierce the Veil, oh, NZXT, fucking all these other bands, Sleeping with Sirens are going to be there. Like that year that I went to Warped Tour was absolutely loaded with people. And I was just so excited.
Yeah, it depends on festival. I know that EDC, which is another really major electronic music festival, they actually list their lineup alphabetically. So yeah, it depends. Generally speaking, they do it the Coachella way. Most festivals will have their headliners like at the top or like the center of their lineup, depending on how they organize it. And then the further out you go, further bottom you go, the less notable an artist is. That doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they're not, as mainstream. That's really all it is the level of recognition and mainstream presence that an artist has tends to build them up higher and higher. But
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, again though, you have these artists that they start out as undercard performers and they do what are called festival tours. Well, they'll play the undercard for as many different festivals as possible, and it gets their name out there, it gets their music out there. Because sometimes you're just chilling at a festival and you don't got anything to do at 3 p.m. because you're waiting for a specific artist at 4. So you just walk around the festival grounds, you happen to go into some stage and you vibe with whatever musician you're like, hey, who was that? And you look them up and you start listening and boom, there we go. They just made a new fan. So it is very important. Like I said, all those artists that I listed off for the 2012 Coachella lineup, they were all undercards. None of them were headliners. They weren't really billed near the top either. They were all mid or undercard performers, which meant that they were not as well known back then. And now they're huge artists.
See, I like individual concerts a lot where you're like, okay, I'm going to see this artist. So like, for example, me and Jess are going to see Illenium actually in June, June 1st and 2nd out in Tahoe. Yeah. So we're going to see them. I've not looked to see who any of the pre-performers are, who any of the intro performances are, because honestly, I go because shows like that are usually picked by the headliner. Like Illenium probably picked a couple of the people that he wants to open for him, which means it's music that Illenium likes, and if Illenium likes it, I'm probably going to like it, or it's going to have So Illenium has if anyone listens to Illenium, you know he has a very stylistic approach to all of his songs. Like you can listen to it, give it like 20 seconds, you're like, you know what, this is probably Illenium. Or things like that, which means he's either going to do one of two things. And from what I've seen, he's either going to pick people that have a similar style to him, or he's going to pick people that have the exact opposite style so that you can get a feel of kind of like both worlds. You can go into it and not get bored of one style of EDM because there's so many different things, which is normally what he does, which is what I love. So like I like those things because I'm like, you know what? I trust the artist. He's picking instead of like them going like, okay, here's your chance to get exposure, and like they just kind of pick whoever outside of the headliners. I don't know if that's exactly how they do it, but
no,
I definitely know.
You're pretty much correct about that. That when it comes to a band or an artist doing a tour and putting up a bunch of different individual shows around the country or even around the world, they, or at least their record label, are the ones that pick the opening acts.
Mm-hmm.
How they determine it is different from artist to artist, but yeah, you're correct generally speaking that it is the artist themselves that if it's their show, they're going to be the ones that pick the openers. I every time I talk about opening acts, I have to just mention it because I went to a Maroon 5 concert one time, and one of the opening acts was Rude. It was a reggae band, and they blew up in like the mid 2010s with that one song, you know, Why You Gotta Be So Rude, I'm Gonna Marry Her, right? That song, you remember that? Yeah, that was them. And I guess Maroon 5 was like, yeah, hell yeah, man. Let's bring them on tour with us. Let's have them open up for us. They were terrible.
Were they?
I was yeah.
Are they a one-hit wonder? Because I don't know of any other songs by that band other than that song.
I think they were a one-hit wonder. They were very hot that year because of that one song. But now I fully understand why they're a one-hit wonder because they're bad. I don't know. I never wanted to listen to any of their other songs, but after seeing them live, I'm like, I'm definitely not listening to any of their other music.
When it comes to live performances, I don't understand how some people still go watch artists when you know that 80% of their shit is auto-tune. Like, cool, I don't care about auto-tune. If you auto-tune it, whatever, and you make good music or it has good beat, cool. If you auto-tune and have shitty music, there's a bigger problem.
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
just...
if you know your auto-tune, don't go do a live performance. Like, please, for the love of God.
Some artists are just not meant to do live shows.
No,
like, their pre-recorded music is fine. It's garnered fans. It's no problem. But I don't know. Playing and doing anything live really is like it's such a difference doing something in front of a live audience versus doing it like pre-recorded. Honestly, you could even compare it to like live streaming versus YouTube videos. There have been a lot of instances where big YouTubers, they try to stream on Twitch and they don't know what to do. They like ignore the chat or like I'm doing right now. But you know, these are like big these are like big established YouTubers who don't know how to live stream because they're not used to it or they're not really built with a live audience in mind. They do their shit in front of the camera, right? They record everything behind the scenes, edit it, and then post it, and then boom, the video's there. They just kind of leave it there. They let it fester.
I don't like that. I didn't have the right energy. Let me redo that, or let me voice this over. Like maybe they didn't like that. Like they have so many chances to do that, and
you can't
they get to redo it.
You can't do that. You don't get like redos or different takes when you're live, and I feel like that's what gets a lot of musicians. You know, because you're in the studio, you're recording your song, you get to do as many takes as you want until you get the right one. Right? You only need one good take to make like a hit song, but then trying to translate that into a live crowd, you know, there's live shows are very much all about like the energy, you know, and 100% for me, at least, whether a show is good or bad, is entirely dependent on the energy of the crowd, and they respond to the effort that the musician puts in. When I'm in a show and I see the artist up on stage and they're giving it their all, they're so into their song, the band is playing the hardest they can, you can feel that. Like you literally vibe with that, you feel it, and then the whole audience is like, you know, it's great show. when I was watching Rude open up for Maroon 5, I did not feel that at all. It felt like everyone was just bored because their music wasn't that good. It didn't sound that good live. I don't think it's the genre. They were like a reggae band. I don't think it's the genre. I think it just I don't know.
I think the
I think
style, like if you think about how that song sounds, like
yeah.
that style just would not come off very well live. Like it needs to be in a very controlled sound system, like your headphones or
Yeah.
speaker, car, things like that. I just can't like I don't know, maybe it's just me being a band nerd and shit like
Mhm.
that, but even picking your venue, like I feel like you have to be very careful based off your style of music, not just picking a venue because it'll get filled or it'll hold a lot of people. Like if your music will not sound good in that venue, you should probably not go there. Certain
I
music sounds better in like open space. Some music sounds
yes.
better in like closed
The
venues where it's
acoustics.
yes.
Exactly.
Like
I
gotta
feel
take
like
that into account.
the vibe that I got from watching that show was just like they were just there because they knew Maroon 5 was like a big name and they were just
Mhm.
hoping to, get more exposure from it. I didn't really feel like they were putting in a lot of effort. And I think that translated to a pretty poor performance. And I think everybody, it was a stadium. So it was a big crowd. I feel like everybody in that stadium was just like turned off from them forever. I don't think I've ever like listened to that song or any of their music ever since. And anytime I talk about that band, it's always this exact story about how I saw them live and they sucked. They were terrible.
Mhm. Now, talking about performances and
Mm,
live performances and doing good or bad, that kind of brings me to something I wanted to talk about. For
okay.
those of you that are country fans, I'm not a country fan, but I thought the way this whole
Neither am
thing played
I.
out was interesting. Morgan Wallen, for those of you that don't know, canceled his show like last second. And I mean like
Mm.
last second. So what had happened was he had performed the night before, lost his voice, spent the day apparently like doing working with his doctor, trying to rest his voice, those types of things that you would do. Obviously, if you can't give a good show, it makes sense to cancel. However, he decided to let all of his opening performances go, everything else, and then literal minutes before he was supposed to perform, instead of doing any type of announcement or whatever, all they did was put over the screen like a little message, like a little rolling credits, like
What?
sorry due to whatever, Morgan Wallen is canceling the show. Please make your way to the nearest exit and you can receive a refund at your point of purchase.
Oh, I'd be
After
pissed.
all the opening performances, everything. He didn't cancel it before the show. So there were people that, yes, you enjoyed the opening performance, but in the end, you're there for so and so, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if I don't have to spend 3 hours listening to these opening things and I can just get my refund and go home, I want to do that. Which is where I understand people's frustrations, right?
Yeah, I'd
Cool.
be
I'm glad
pissed.
that he gave a refund. If he didn't give refunds, I would have been upset. Like, I've seen some people do that. They cancel and be like, no, no refunds. But as a musician, hours before. Like your voice isn't just going to suddenly get better in 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right? If your voice isn't good 2 hours before the show is supposed to start, 3 hours, whatever, it's not going to magically get better. That's just not how it works. For anyone that's lost your voice, you know this, whether you're a musician or not. It's like that for days.
Hmm.
It, like maybe sometimes like a day, but it's like that for a while. So the fact that he waited until last second to cancel was the bullshit move.
I think even with the refund, it's terrible because you have people that, you know, they took time out of their day to go see this show. Some people
Mm-hmm.
that may have even driven, I don't know exactly where this show was, but whenever you have an artist like that, you have people that drive in from out of town, you know, and they're not going to get that back. Sure, they get their refunded ticket. They don't get their time back. They don't get back the money spent on like gas or food or whatever to make the
Mm-hmm.
trip way out there. And
But
even
now,
if the show is rescheduled, like it's not as easy for people to get that time off, requesting from work or whatever.
mhm.
I would still be pissed. Even with a refund, I'd be upset that I made it all the way out here to watch a show for this person and that they didn't deliver, Again, like you said, if they had mentioned it ahead of time, okay, cool, save me the trip. But the fact that he did it mere minutes before he was supposed to go on stage, that fucking sucks.
Now I will say, okay, there are a couple of things that I will take into consideration. Acknowledging the fact that I agree people have a right to be pissed, but I've been
Hmm.
reading Twitter and I've been looking at things. Most people are against him, but there are the few that point out the other side of it, right? I don't remember who it was, but there was someone who went on stage and performed live years ago, like 7, 8 years ago. I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was like Justin Bieber or something, but they lip sync. they lip sang because they had a sore throat. And over the course of like the next 3 weeks, videos started surfacing of them catching the artist and being like, oh, this doesn't line up or this doesn't match. And like calling them out until they finally admitted it. And people were pissed. They're like, oh, he didn't give us a real performance, yada, yada, yada. So like thinking about that side of it, right? And we're talking about live performances being good or bad and the energy and shit like that. Like, are you more pissed? Would you have been more pissed to watch a show where he lip sang or maybe wasn't feeling well and didn't give the energy and you felt like it was a shitty show and you didn't get your money back? Or get at least the refund and you got some show? Like that, now I'm like, okay, kind of right. Like, since we're talking about live performances, like what would you rather have? Because here he performed, it's not like he performed in one city and then traveled overnight to a next city like people do on tour. He performed in the city of Mississippi 2 nights in a row. He performed the first night and then had to cancel the second night.
Oh.
So it's like, yeah, I'd be pissed, but at the same time, it's at least I didn't get pay for a shitty performance. I got my money back, maybe another ticket or something else.
That's true. I think I'm gonna agree with you there because I do feel that like canceling sucks. It's going to suck. It's one of those like rock and a hard place situations where, you know, no matter what choice you make, it's going to suck. But I do think that like paying and then getting a shitty performance is even worse than just having the act canceled. Because that stuff ruins careers. When you mention another artist earlier, I don't think this is who you were talking about, but I just looked it up. It reminded me of the way Ashlee Simpson's music career ended. Ashley Simpson, she's the younger sister of much more popular Jessica Simpson. And she had like a very short-lived music career. Her most famous song was Pieces of Me. And she did exactly what you said artists shouldn't do if they're not feeling it. Was she went to go do a show. I think it was for SNL. So it wasn't like, you know, nobody paid to see it, but it was still an important show that was going to be broadcasted live on TV. Same exact thing happened. Her voice was not like doing well, but she didn't want to cancel the performance. She wanted to go through with it. And so she decided she was going to lip sync. Here's the problem though. She fucked up. She went on stage, she fucked up. And it's like people made fun of her for years because of this, because the song started playing and her voice was going, but she missed the timing. And so it immediately became obvious to everybody. And again, this was broadcast live that she was going to lip sync the performance. And I think like, the funniest part was like, you could tell she was dying inside when this was happening live, because she knew that she just got exposed for trying to do a lip sync performance on live television. So rather than like just restart and move on, she like does like a dance. It's the weirdest thing ever. She does this like little little, I don't know, like an Irish jig thing with her legs. I don't know how else to explain it. You'll just have to look up the video. Just look up Ashlee Simpson SNL, and then she just walks off stage afterwards, and that's it. Like it's over. It's done. And her career is dead after that point. Because like anytime someone talks about Ashlee Simpson, they bring up that SNL performance and how she just utterly botched it, and that's it. You know, are you watching it? Yeah,
the dance right now.
It's so bad. It's I get secondhand embarrassment from looking at that.
She's literally just hop.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like, you know,
she's just at a loss. She knows. She's like, well, I'm fucking done.
She knows her career.
Pissed. Oh, yeah. Dude, these people are fucking at a loss right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Talking about lip syncing though.
Yeah.
How would you feel if like so-and-so came out and they're with whatever their manager, someone comes out with them and is like, hey, so-and-so's voice is gone, but you guys paid for a performance. Like obviously they have choreography and they got the show, like it's a performance, it's not just the live show. And they're like, we're still gonna give you guys your show, and they're gonna lip sync. Would you be pissed if you still got the show but you like were told, hey, we're lip syncing, we're gonna give you what we can, but he doesn't have a voice to sing? Right. How would you feel about that situation? Because honestly, I have no idea. Like I feel like I would be okay with it, But again, that's like a in the moment thing. Like, would I be pissed? Like,
Me personally, I think I would still ask for a refund, even if it meant I had
okay.
to leave the venue afterwards. Just because, like, if I just want to listen to a recording of the song, I do that. I stay at
Hmm.
home. I listen to it on YouTube, Spotify, whatever, the radio, even.
Hmm.
If I'm at a show in person, I want to see the artist perform the song. I don't want to see them fake it. I don't want to see them, you know, put like zero effort into it. I'm there for them. I want to support
That's what
them
I'm
and
saying
their
though. Like,
music.
not giving zero effort. Like, they just can't sing. Like, you've had days where like you're fine, you can move, you have energy, you just can't physically talk, let alone sing.
I
So
still
obviously, that's why I
think,
said they still have the
yeah,
performance.
I still think I would have preferred for them to have canceled the show ahead of time,
Mm.
as opposed to like trying to sell me like a pro. You know, it's like if you buy a video game, right?
Okay.
Like an old school collectible video game, and you're about to buy it, right? Or rather, you've already paid for it, and the guy who's going to sell it to you comes up to you and is like, hey, so this isn't like an exact copy of the game. It's like a ROM that was loaded onto the cartridge. It's going to play exactly like the original game, but it's not the thing you technically paid for. Do you still want it? You know? And you have to ask yourself at that point, like, your experience is going to be almost unchanged, but like, it's, for me, it's the
Hmm.
knowledge of knowing that it's not what I was supposed to get. And I think that would bug me enough where I was just like, you know what,
So
I just don't
like,
want it. I just don't
best
want it.
case scenario would be, hey, put out something early, like a tweet or a
Yeah,
whatever. Obviously, Twitter's how Twitter and TikTok is how everyone gets their news these days. Fucking
true.
put out a tweet saying like, hey, so and so lost their voice. They will be lip syncing. Performance will still be going on. If you wish to not take part, or if you wish to have a refund and don't want to show up, here's the link to get your refund or whatever. If you still want to go, there's a show still happening. Like, we are still
i
going to go show. They will be lip syncing. Performance will still be happening.
I think
Like,
that's the best option, especially because it allows every concert goer to individually make the choice
mm,
that is best for them. And if there's one thing I love about this country, it's my freedom of choice. Amen. God bless America. You know, but like, the freedom to choose is very important for, people that spend their money, especially in a consumer society. So in a worst case scenario where the artist isn't able to perform a show, giving people that choice of, hey, do you want to either just get your money back and save yourself the trip entirely, or do you still want to show up, see the artist, but they're just going to put on like a
it's gonna be a show.
like
It's a
yeah,
performance.
yeah, they'll put on something. It's not exactly what you want, but it's something. I'm sure there would still
Hmm.
be some people. I wouldn't personally, but I wouldn't put others down for wanting to be like, I already have the ticket, I already asked for the day off, I already made the plans, like, I might as well just go. you know I think
Agreed.
having that choice is probably the smartest
I don't think that would
approach.
ever in a million years happen. Like,
I don't think so.
people are drama queens and kings, and fucking labels are money grabbers, and like so much shit is crazy. Like, I don't want to
Hmm.
get into NF, but I really like NF shows. I went and saw him once, great opener, things like that. I don't think he is. Like, for the longest time, he had no label. He does everything himself with him and his manager. So
Oh,
everything that happens, every music video, every concert, venue choice, all of it are based off his decisions.
so it's
He's
like
like,
a like
this is
a
what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. This is how I want it done.
so like a
Like,
Tyler the Creator situation.
yeah. So like when he put it in one of his songs about how like when he goes and people get VIP passes to go backstage and meet him and take pictures with him and stuff like that, and people complain like, oh, why don't you smile or blah, blah, because I don't want to. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have a record label that's telling me, like, I don't have PR. Like, if you listen to his music, he is who he is, and it's fucking
Hmm.
great. He doesn't go and like smile and pretend to be like, he's very serious. He is who he is. If you listen to his music, he tells you exactly what kind of person he is. And then people will go and meet him and be like, whoa, wait, I didn't think you were actually like this. Like, I tell you, like, he is so honest in his music, and I fucking love it. And my buddy Jacob met him, and like, even with how serious he is, he's very honest, down to earth, and just fucking upfront. And it's very cool to see like that, because you don't have to put on a show, because then you get those people or artists that you see, you're like, oh, I ran into this person in public and they're a fucking bitch. Like, holy shit. And I'm like, oh, damn. Like, I like not seeing the face put on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wait,
and I wish it was like that more.
Well, I want to ask you a question now, because you made me think of it just now. Have you ever met like a famous or a somewhat famous person in real life? Because I'm just thinking of that, like,
anyone.
Really?
Never ran into nope.
I'm just thinking of that like hypothetical scenario of like, you know, you running into celebrity or something.
No, the closest I could get, what is his name? Jeremy Renner. He actually lives. His house is up in Tahoe. I want to say it's like 30 minutes from me. Like, he is a Reno local. He comes down here, like, people have caught him in like one of our local Walmarts, like shopping and like taking pictures with him. He actually stayed at the hospital that I work at when he was in that accident. The 3 days of the week that I don't work at the hospital, and then the day I go there, he got transferred to California or some shit, and then he was here again the day before I went in. So like, there are chances, like, that's the closest I've ever been that I know of. But then there are these people that are constantly running, oh, I ran into so and so on the street or in the airport or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck?
Let me tell you, as like as a native Southern Californian, that doesn't happen. I don't understand why everybody thinks that if you go to California, you'll be running into celebrities left and right. That doesn't fucking happen here. You know, I think maybe it's because, I don't know, in their mind, they're thinking like, oh, you know, all the famous people, they live in Beverly Hills. So, you know, chances are if a bigger portion of the local population is made up of famous people, then in theory, you're more likely to actually run into a famous person. Here's the problem with that, though. So all those famous people, they stay they stay in Beverly Hills. They stay in their gated communities and fenced off houses up in the hills. You can't even like drive close to like where they live. And anytime they do come to the city, they're in like a private escort vehicle, and it's like straight to the studio or straight to wherever they need to go.
Which makes me so curious. Like, how do paparazzi and shit like get pictures of these people leaving their properties, or
they're literally,
I'm like, how do they even get that? Like,
they're predators. They're literally predators. They're like roaches that just they will stalk celebrities and like camp outside their houses just waiting for them to leave. Like, that's why there's like a big problem. Like, nobody likes paparazzi.
Yeah, because I saw this biography talking about paparazzi one time, and like, these people were somehow getting information. Like, so-and-so is going to be at this location at this time. Like, they knew that they were going to this store or this whatever at this time. And I'm like,
oh, so for that,
are these people's friends selling paparazzi information?
Yes,
like,
no,
fuckers. Like,
that's how it is. There are that's why a lot of famous people have trust issues sometimes, because you know, if you're famous, you tend to have a lot of people that work for you. You know, stylists, drivers, wardrobe people. You have a lot, right? A lot of people that work with you, that work for you, and sometimes, if they're desperate enough, they will sell info about a celebrity to the paparazzi. You know, a paparazzi will like kind of worm their way in there, be like, hey, right, you're a hairstylist for Jennifer Aniston. You know where she's going to be anywhere? And then, you know, if they offer the stylist enough money and the stylist has no morals, then she's going to take that money and be like, yeah, I heard her talking over the phone. She's going to a friend's party this day, whatnot. And that's how they know. And that's how the paparazzi ends up getting there and snapping photos of these celebrities and getting their photo. It's a really, really predatory business practice. And it's just like, I don't give a shit about celebrities, but even I'm kind of like, the paparazzi have got to go. They're just, they're terrible. They're like they're paparazzi and tabloids are kind of like the call centers of the entertainment world. Like, they exist, but no one really wants them to exist. And I don't think anybody would miss, you know, call centers like
still stay in business. Like, who actually stays by
I don't know, man. I have no fucking clue. I don't. Maybe they're just really bored.
It's like A&W and Arby's. How are these places still in business? Who eats A&W? Someone tell me right now.
I don't even know where my closest A&W is. I don't think I've ever been to one. I've driven past one for sure.
I went to one like last year, I think. I was driving by it and I was like, you know what? I could go for a root beer float and some burger. Like, you know, it's A&W. That's what I'm going to go for.
I wonder if...
I went there, and the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck still shops here. This is the one and only time I've been here in fucking years.
I wonder if A&W root beer, like, the sales of that subsidize their restaurants. Because I don't know anyone that eats there either.
Arby's, Carl's Jr.
Okay, but my dad loves Arby's. My dad is the only person I know that unironically loves Arby's. There have been many
are good, but like holy shit, are they
just
like,
the Meat Mountain? Excuse me? Have you seen that? The Meat Mountain? No fucking way, dude. No, dude. I feel like if you tried to eat that, you would just die. I think if you tried to eat a Meat Mountain and a KFC Double Down in like one sitting, I think you're just asking to be put 6 feet under, like immediately.
Meat
like
sweats.
Straight up. Meat sweats. No, but like I feel bad for my dad because like I said, no one likes Arby's. And so he doesn't ever Arby's. He doesn't. Well, maybe you should hang out with my dad then, because he never had. I don't like Arby's. No, nobody I know actually likes or eats cheddar, at Arby's.
Man. Easy.
It's just
I won't eat there that often because like if I just want some slices of beef and cheddar, I'll make that at fucking home. Like,
look, I don't hate it, but I'm not excited about it, and I feel bad because when I go hang out with my dad every once in a while, he's just like, hey, it's lunchtime, let's go get something to eat. What do you want to get for lunch? Do you want to go to like that mom and pop like breakfast joint? Do you want to go get some tacos? Maybe some Arby's. It's been a while since we've gone some Arby's. How about McDonald's? Or what about Arby's? You haven't been to Arby's in a while, right? Maybe we want to eat something healthier, right? Maybe some like some pita sandwiches or Arby's. When was the last time you went to Arby's? Have you had Arby's? He always tries to sneak it in there and be like, and every once in a while I just have to be like, all right, fine, Dad. Let's go to Arby's. Let's just go to Arby's. I have to this is my dad, so I just have to indulge him.
What do you want from Arby's? I don't know, Dad. They got like 3 options. They got meat and cheese, more meat and cheese, or extra meat and cheese.
And he gets so excited. He gets so excited when I'm just like, all right, let's go to Arby's. He's like, yes. Because I don't think he goes by himself. Because I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of sad to go to Arby's by yourself. And I think he knows that. So he only ever goes to Arby's when I decide to go with him, because nobody else likes Arby's. It's just, he's the only person I know that likes it. I know some people say that Arby's has like the best fries, but it's just curly fries. You can get the same thing at like a bunch of other restaurants. I know Jack in the Box has curly fries. Exactly. See, if you want you don't have to go to Arby's for the fries. It's
Okay. See, little quick side note. We got off topic from Coachella and music and Twitter and
everything.
But when it comes to curly fries, I actually stopped getting Jack in the Box curly fries for one reason. Okay. They are the best. They're amazing. But my thing is, I eat my main meal before I eat my fries. Like I have to. Like I might have a couple, but like I eat my burger or sandwich or whatever before I touch my fries. Okay. So by the time I do that, because I drive home first, I may have a couple on the way home, and then I eat my sandwich or my burger. And by the time I drive home, eat my burger or sandwich, my fries are cold. Jack in the Box curly fries, colder, suck ass. Their regular fries, when they're coldish, really aren't that bad, especially with the honey mustard sauce. But the curly fries are only good when they're fucking fresh. But like I can't eat the fries before my sandwich. It like doesn't in my brain work.
That's weird. I eat it alongside. I like will take a couple bites of my burger, and then I'll eat some fries, and then a few more bites, and then some fries. So I never run into that issue of like cold fries. But I will agree that like cold fries, I think just in general, are just bad. Fries are meant to be eaten fresh out the fryer when they're hot and they're nice and crispy and all that. I don't know. I
very well. Fries are
yeah, no, they get all soggy and limp and flaccid. It's just not good. It's just not good.
Now, anyways, bringing it back, we are approaching the end. There was something you had mentioned before the show started that you wanted me to react to live.
Right. So we've been talking about Coachella and entertainment like all day in general. And so the whole point of entertainment is because we're bored, right? Like the reason we listen to music and we watch TV shows, and the reason some of you guys are here listening to this podcast right now is because y'all are bored and have nothing else to do at the moment. So thank you for being here, by the way. But I saw a couple things on Twitter and a couple things in real life that just made me like question how bored we are as a society. Like how, in the age of the internet, where you have anything at your disposal, you can watch any show, play any game, whatever. How are people still very, very bored? And let me give you 2 examples. Okay, we're gonna go to 2 different countries. The first country is the US. I wanted to just briefly talk about TikTok. Maybe next week we can go into a whole separate like topic and tangent about TikTok, but there has been this TikTok going around that has been like in my head rent free, and it's this one kid singing about his new Nike shoes, and he sings like he goes like 1 2 buckle my shoe, 3 4 buckle some more, 5 6 Nike kicks, right? And he says it in the best I can describe it is he sings it in kind of like a squealy schoolboy voice. So I guess that's what made it viral. Here's the thing though. I was at work the other day and I heard 2 kids singing that song. Like I heard them IRL in the store in person singing that. Bro, and I was just like
TikTok dances in public.
Yeah. I was just like
the stupidest lines ever.
And I know it was from TikTok because it wasn't the original 1 2 buckle my shoe. They ended it with Nike kicks. That's from the TikTok. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me being boomer. Maybe this is like an old man yells at cloud moment. But I'm just like astonished because these kids were like 6, 7 years old. That this is like
this Reach Around the Rosie next.
This is what kids are doing now for entertainment. When kids are bored, they are now going to TikTok and watching, whatever's on the For You page, which happens to be the most viral TikToks, which this week was the 1 2 buckle my shoe guy. And
I'd rather that than the fucking stupid challenges that were getting kids killed. So I mean,
that's fair,
could be worse.
It's still weird because you haven't heard kids going around singing 1 2 buckle my shoe since like fucking 1946, It just doesn't happen, and the only reason it's doing it is because of TikTok. And it's not just like young kids. It's not just young.
1 2 buckle my shoe
was popular.
1946.
When was that song was last popular? But like it's just entertainment is just so weird nowadays. But there is weirder out there. And so that brings me to like the next quick topic I want to talk about before we wrap up the show. Good old Japan. Because Japan has like they got a lot of shit to entertain you with, right? They got anime, they got, video games, they got manga, they got hentai, right?
Wait.
There's a lot of things that come from Japan, made in Japan. That's very entertaining. We have an entire weeb culture in the English speaking world because we're entertained by things that come from Japan. So it's hard for me to wrap my head around what I'm about to describe because this can only exist if people in Japan are incredibly bored. How bored are people in Japan that they have to come up with the craziest fucking ideas to entertain themselves? Again, they have access to all the things I just listed off of, and they're still bored. They're still so bored that someone's like, you know what? What if we do this? And so I came across a clip on Twitter of this Japanese game show called Jerk Off Karaoke.
No.
And so the way the game show works is there is a stage and a contestant gets up on stage and there is a table that's waist up. So, and it's got like curtains on the edge of the table, so it hides their body from the waist down. And the aim of the game is they have to sing an entire karaoke song. But the entire time that they're singing, there is an attractive woman on stage with them, jerking them off under the table. And so they have to finish singing the karaoke song before they nut. If they nut, they lose. And I'm just I wish I could show the clip.
No way.
But I'm worried. I wish I'll send it to you after this.
I don't even want to Google that. I don't want that on my fucking. I'm going to incognito real quick.
I wish I could send you guys the clip and show it here, but I'm pretty sure I'd get banned because the guy is just straight up like orgasming in the video. Like he's singing a song and like you know how they have the karaoke lyrics where they put the words on the screen and then the lines like kind of cross over and you're supposed to sing in time with that, right?
Yeah.
It's funny because he hits a high note and then he keeps it there and like the words keep going like he's supposed to keep singing, but he's not. He's just like moaning and like making noises and I'm just like, bro, this guy just nut. This guy just straight up nut. And I'm just like, oh my God. And again, just like how bored do you have to be to come up with an idea like that? Like that's the only thing that entertains you is ejaculation based game shows.
Is the woman under the table like hidden, or she's sitting there so you can see her?
She
She's just
you
like
can see
this.
her. You can she's exactly that. It's exactly that. She's reaching under the table and you can see the motion of her arm. She's like standing up, so you see her. In fact, like in the clip that I mentioned, she's like up in his face, like blowing in his ear and all that. Really, just like she's, like
Really
I mean, like
wait. So does she win money if she
but
makes him fucking finish?
I have no fucking.
Is
clue.
it like he gets the money if he finishes the lyrics? She gets the money if she fucking gets him off in time?
I have no clue, to be honest. I just saw the clip and I was scared about getting put on a list if I did more research. But
I received insider information that there's a woman under your table. Is this true?
Hey guys, this was a great show. Great second episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the second podcast here at the Trash Guys. Great show. Lots of fun topics.
Oh no, that's actually ridiculous. I can't. I don't even know anymore. It never surprises me. I see some weird shit. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I just hear the Japanese talking really fast on whatever show's going on, and they're yelling and getting excited. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening. That one, I'm pretty sure if I just randomly came across it, I would know exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Like, no, it was, okay. Again, you watch the clip and exactly that. You get exactly what's happening. You're like, oh shit, this guy's getting,
no, you sit
getting fondled under the table while singing karaoke.
No,
that's it. That's the whole show.
I assume that's not competing. It's like
they
deal
compete
or no deal. One person's on there. They either win the money or they don't.
Yeah, like okay, because I checked out the tweet and there were a few more clips, like supplementary clips underneath the main tweet, and there were like different guys and there were also like different women too. So I don't know if that means anything, but yeah, it's a game show and like the whole point is to just laugh at haha, this funny guy is nutting on TV. I guess. I don't know. Do you think a game show like that? No, never mind. Let's see. I was going to say, do you think a game show like that?
You have to also keep in mind, like, the whole Japanese mindset for entertainment and certain things is, like, way different than ours. Like,
oh, yeah. No, that kind of show, I don't think would ever get a pass.
They get away with drawing, whether it's hentai or not, fucking big titty, fucking triple F boobies and fucking fat asses and all this shit. Keep in mind that they're drawing these on fucking, most of the time, high schoolers in the show. Yeah. It's like, and they just get away with that shit. You can't do that here.
Like, yeah, no, it wouldn't pass. No. I think a lot of it has to do, and we could just make Japan our topic of conversation for next week, because there is there's a lot more into why Japan is a lot more open about like sex and stuff compared to the US, but that's probably why they're bored enough to just be like, you know what? Jerk off karaoke. True. Meanwhile, if we want to be entertained, we don't get jerk off karaoke. Oh. We have to deal with Frank Ocean at Coachella. Like, that's our entertainment.
Stash has a good recommendation. We could literally just talk about a bunch of different Japanese game shows. I've seen quite a few over the years that are very interesting, to say the least.
We could do that. I'd be down to talk about Japan next week.
Yeah, maybe not next week or whenever, but just in general.
Hey, you heard it here first, weebs. Trash Guys Japan episode coming up sometime in the future.
Probably a week or two, so, don't go far.
Yeah, true. I think that's about it. That's more or less our hour at this point.
Yeah, it was fun, though.
Yeah, I've talked about everything I needed to talk about Coachella and the music and concert live entertainment industry.
Hashtag
for sure.
Frank Ocean.
Hashtag no Frank Ocean merchandise, by the way. There was no Frank Ocean merchandise available at Coachella. And every single stall weekend one had to put up a sign that said no Frank Ocean merchandise. And then somebody took a photo of that sign and made t-shirts that said no Frank Ocean merchandise and then sold it to other concert goers weekend two. And so that's probably like the best news to come out of this whole Frank Ocean thing was the no Frank Ocean merchandise.
I like it.
Yep.
But anyways, we appreciate all of our friends for hanging out with us tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the talk, enjoyed the drama, enjoyed the weird news from the jerk off show. We will figure out exactly what we want to talk about next week. It might be the Japan episode. You never know.
Maybe we'll
You
see,
know.
we'll see. But I hope we were able to bless your ears for an hour and keep you mildly entertained. Maybe not as entertained as Frank Ocean or Jerk Off Karaoke, but somewhat entertained nonetheless. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. And Guy, when can they catch you live next?
I will be live tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. because I have to take my car into the shop tomorrow morning. So,
ew, gross.
That's fun. Yeah, it's been acting up. So get to go spend more money. Woo!
I'll love it. I love paying money to keep using the thing I already own.
I will be live 10 a.m. tomorrow. So catch you there. You're live tomorrow afternoon, right?
Tomorrow night? Tomorrow evening I'll be live. I don't know, 6, 7, 8 p.m. I'll let you know. But yeah, we'll be continuing more Pokemon Black Nuzlocke tomorrow.
Perfect. All right. So if you need something to do during the day, I got you. If you need something at night, he's got you.
All right, that's it.
Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. We will see you guys next time we see you.
Peace out, everybody. Bye-bye.